There are some cameras which I really wanted to like. They fit my photography, but somehow we just couldn't connect.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Photography Radio. My name is Tomasz, and today you are listening to Beyond the Frame with Olaf Sztaba, where he challenges you to take visual risks and think differently about your photography. Honest, bold, and unapologetic. Typical Olaf. Enjoy.
Can you imagine your life without photography? No? Then you will love this show. And it doesn't matter if you're a DSLR, a mirrorless, or a mobile phone shooter. We're here to help your photography grow. This is Photography Radio.
So the camera doesn't matter. Well, at least that's the religion, the common truth, and the mantra the entire internet believes in. And to be honest with you, I used to believe in it too. I remember how I would argue with anyone who disagreed with me on this one. Well, but I know what you are thinking. Wait a minute, Olaf. Does it mean that I don't believe it now? Actually, no, I don't. And during this podcast, I would like to explain this to you. In short, this is not what I think. Well, let's admit it. We all enjoy talking about gear. And we love our gear. There is even a medical term for this. It's called objectophilia, or in short, OS. And no, it's not an operating system. No, I'm not kidding. You can look it up. And here is an official definition. Individuals who develop deep emotional and or romantic attachment to specific objects or structures. Thomas, should we cut it out? Okay, anyway. Many years ago, I could get into a conversation with a really tough stance on this subject. I thought, and I argued really hard, the camera doesn't matter, period. That's all. After all, it's all about feeling, seeing, creativity, and crafting great imagery. Of course it is, but now, in 2019, the camera does matter to me. Yes, this silence was needed, and I hope you didn't stop listening. If you are still with me, I have a good news. And it's not what you think. Over the course of the last few years, I had a opportunity to shoot with many cameras from different brands. And I thought about it quite deeply. The whole process of approaching any camera is quite fascinating. Some new products, even before they reach our hands, are already receiving a lot of attention and in some cases even praise, just like that. Some cameras has a huge following. For example, Leica M10 or like Fuji XT line or Ricoh GR. And some people love Sony cameras for their video abilities. Even before you approach those cameras, they are already welcomed, blessed, and we really put them on pedestal. And let's be honest, our perception is influenced by it. But there is another factor. We love comparing specifications. There are so many websites which compare and compare and compare every single function. My answer to this? Boring. Unfortunately, many of us fall into it and make our purchases based on such comparisons and logic. So when I said the camera does matter, I didn't mean this particular camera is better than the other one. And this is how almost all online conversations are framed. In recent years, I have been extensively shooting with medium format, and some people ask me, is medium format really better than, well, you can fill out the blanks. And in almost every single conversation, there is the word better. And my response is, better for whom? Better for what? They are all different. And you must decide if the difference is what you want. Every system has its advantages and disadvantages. And here is what I really think the camera matters. How could you work with something that you don't like at all? Let me give you an example. There are some cameras which I really wanted to like. They fit my photography, but somehow we just couldn't connect. In recent years, I have tested Ricoh GR3, the latest iteration. In the past, I tried Ricoh GR2, and I tried really hard to like this camera, but somehow it didn't work for me. Maybe it's a lack of electronic viewfinder operation. Somehow we just couldn't connect. So yes, it does matter about shooting with something I like. But the same token, I have friends who absolutely love this powerful little camera, and good for them. Here is another example. For many years, I was shooting with a small fixed lens camera. It led me to many great and creative images. It compelled me to be playful, to experiment. Then I started to shoot with medium format, of course much larger and demanding system. For months, I didn't know what was happening with my photography. Well, then I realized that this new system, this new experience led me to a different type of photography. Not better, different. Let me repeat, different. And due to the size, I got probably less creative, but more articulate, more purposeful, and that's okay. Both of these approaches are fine, I think, and I have to say they allow me to produce great but different work. So in a sense, these cameras made me rethink my approach to photography, and each in their own special way. It allowed me to shoot different imagery. So my main point is this. Make sure that when you purchase your camera, it's something you enjoy shooting with. The camera should feel good in your hands. For those of you who take your camera to a job site, if you are professional, of course it must also meet some sort of requirements. And let me give you one more suggestion. When you purchase or look for a new camera, don't be shy. Nowadays, some companies have programs where you can actually try the new camera for a few days, and you don't need to be a professional. Inquire about this. Ask. There are some showings in stores when you can come and talk to a company representatives and play with the camera of your choice. And don't get obsessed with specifications. In fact, look for less. Look for cameras with fewer functions, not more. And please don't ask Auntie Internet for advice. You will be more confused than before. Well, unless you like hardcore camera politics. So don't be surprised if you feel trumped. No pun intended here, okay? So make sure you choose a camera that matters to you and becomes a true companion to your seeing. There is no way around it. As Dorota Lang said, a camera is a tool for learning how to see without a camera. Or, as someone said, the only person happy with a 100% crop is a farmer. Think about it. So thank you so much for listening. And as always, please go to photographyradio.com, give us a shout, leave a comment, let us know, maybe suggest some new ideas. Thank you for listening, and until next week.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hit subscribe on your podcast app. It would mean a lot for us to have you as our regular listener. Head over to photographyradio.com to drop your suggestion for future editions of Photography Radio, or simply to say hello. We would absolutely love to hear from you. In the meantime, have a wonderful night, and we will be back with more photography in your ears very soon.